Hey there, everybody. Ralph Covert here. Welcome to Waterdog. Welcome to my online songwriting class. Today I want to talk about, it's a class I call Which Piece is Missing? And I'm going to use a song of mine called Which Piece is Missing as the example that we're going to use to explain this idea. So, in an earlier video, we talked about the roadmap from a note to a full song and some of the pieces that we can change and vary and when we're building the song in between. One of the tools that we have at our disposal is how many bars are in a line. A kind of a related tool is how many lines are in a section. And I want to kind of look at those two pieces because they kind of parallel each other. And they're both very powerful and very useful. Most songs tend to be written in very square structure. 4-bar lines, 4-line sections, very orthodox, very rounded and safe. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and even knowing these tools, you're going to use a lot of those things again and again and again. It's not like we need to make everything all weird and wacky. But knowing how to manipulate those pieces can really give you some powerful tools that can help your songs be more interesting, catch people's ear, and be more fun to you as a writer. Okay, so a 4-bar line. I'll just play kind of just a generic one here and make up a fake melody to it, and you hear it just sounds very resolved, very safe. So here's a 4-bar line. Oh yeah. First bar, second bar, third bar, fourth bar. Hear that dot, dot, dot? Very safe and round, right? Now, if you were to make it longer, then your kind of your listener is going to expect you to end it, and you're kind of suspending it and holding it, and then coming down. Right? So, right? So instead of going, here's a 5-bar line and it goes a little longer, and another line goes like this a little longer. So I'm kind of holding it out. Where's it going to end? Where's it going to end? I stretched it out, right? The opposite of that is to make it shorter, a 3-bar line. In this case, the listener is expecting it to come full circle to that 4th bar and kind of be kind of nice and predictable. And before you get there, bam, you start the next line. So you're kind of anticipating and getting there and kind of catching them off balance that way. So a 3-bar line might be, here's a 3-bar line, and the second line's here, and this kind of off-center. So that it starts that new line before you expect it to. So the line, and the one thing you hear as I'm doing that is that when you create a shorter line or a longer line, you're going to need to then write a melody and write words that fit into that shorter or longer line. Then that, as a songwriter, is going to be kind of the riding a bicycle part of this skill, because your brain, just like your listener's brain, is programmed for those 4-bar lines. Your brain, as a songwriter, is kind of only used to making stuff in those 4-bar shapes. So as you start playing around with these different lengths of lines, it's going to be like riding a bicycle at first. Your brain is going to need to figure out the template for that. You know, if you've seen the video I did on writing second verses, the same kind of thing, where when you first try to do it, it's what I call the 3 F's of writing a second verse. At first, you're frustrated, and then you're able to make stuff fit, and then you're able to do it in a way that you're fluent. So same thing with writing line lengths that are different other than 4 bars. You'll be frustrated at first because your brain has not yet figured out that pattern. When your brain starts to figure out that pattern, then it'll make stuff fit. And then once it really has gotten comfortable using it and it makes sense to you really internally, you come up with stuff that's very fluid in that pattern. Just as with, you can vary the line length, you can vary the section length. Most sections of songs are 4 lines long. And so the listener is going to expect that comfortable 4-line length. And in the same way with adding bars, if you add lines, you're kind of holding off and making them anticipate or making them wait and creating a suspension. If you go early, then you're kind of anticipating it and you're moving the song forward more quickly at that point. As you're building a song, one great thing to think about using this general idea is how the relative lengths of the different sections in a song balance out with each other. If your verse is 4 lines and your chorus is 4 lines and your bridge is 4 lines, you're creating a very predictable pattern. So maybe your verse is 4 lines, but your chorus is only 2 lines. Well, a shorter chorus like that is going to keep the song kind of catapulting forward. You're going to, instead of feeling resolved and all finished, you're going to be off into the next section. Or you might try a 3-line verse, because then when you do your verse, it just pops into the chorus and creates a momentum there. Anytime you cut a line or a bar out of a song, it's going to create a sense of momentum. And every time you add a line or a bar, it's going to create kind of a suspension and an anticipation as it holds on. Okay? Here's the song, Which Piece is Missing? Here's what to listen for in this song. The verses overall are pretty straight. They're 4-bar lines, 4-line sections. Now, if you've seen my video on how you can change chord rhythm, how quickly the chords move, I do a nice little trick in the verses where on the last bar, I make the chords move twice as fast as the rest of the line. So it kind of creates a sense of the line being shorter, but it's not really shorter. So let me play a line, I'll show you what I mean. So that last bar is actually the same as the others, but the way the chord rhythm changes more quickly, it makes it seem like it's cutting something short. So that's kind of a nice technique with chord rhythm, but their verses are overall pretty straight. The chorus has a couple things going on. It's got 3 lines instead of 4, and the middle line only has 3 bars, okay? So that's something really to listen to, and it kind of gives it a sense of kind of being off balance. At the end of the song, the outro section goes to a 6-bar line, which, as we talked about, gives kind of a perpetual motion feel that is pretty neat. So verses are straight with the chord rhythm thing happening. Choruses have 3 lines and a 3-bar line in the middle, and the end goes to the lengthened 6-bar line. To summarize what we talked about today, most songs have 4-bar lines, 4-line sections. By manipulating those pieces, making them shorter, you can create a sense of forward motion, a sense of urgency, and play with listeners' expectations, making it seem like you're speeding up the song as a whole. When you extend lines, kind of has you're creating a suspension, you're holding off delayed gratification, you're putting a pause in. So by contracting and expanding lines and contracting and expanding sections, you can play with your listeners' expectations and help shape your songs. So those are fun tools to play with. Here's the song, Which Piece is Missing? It's on the Bad Examples album, Cheap Beer Night. And it goes like this. make you who you are. Couple of dozen stories, some snapshots from your childhood. But here in the dark it's clear that we both have our share of scars. Some only scratch the surface, some have sculpted who we are. I don't know which piece is missing from your heart. I don't know which piece is missing. Running around in circles, running into each other. I didn't mean to let you come too close for comfort. I don't know which piece is missing from your heart. I don't know which piece is missing. Now that the shouting's over, try to accept each other. Faults you'll forgive a friend for are hard to take in your lover. And now that I've sung about you and all your insecurities, you can take this song and sing it all right back at me. I don't know which piece is missing from your heart. I don't know which piece is missing. I don't know which piece is missing from your heart. I don't know which piece is missing. I don't know which piece is missing. I don't know which piece is missing. Oh, I don't know, yeah. I don't know, I don't know. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. And good luck applying a lot of these tools to your writing. We'll see you soon.
Maybe we don't belong